Hi, my name is Ryan. I am an American living in Sweden, and recently I put out a video defending the Electoral College to both Swedes and even to Americans. It was my hope that by doing that, it would get out of my system, and I wouldn't need to have this conversation anymore. Unfortunately, since that time, the amount of arguments I have gotten into has only increased. So just when I thought it was out, they pulled me back in. So here we go again. Okay, so let's start with some news from America. Senator Barbara Boxer, a Democrat from California, has proposed a bill that would eliminate the Electoral College. They should call this bill the loser bill because it is a loser in every sense of the term. It has no chance of passing Congress whatsoever. Even if it did, it is an amendment to the Constitution, which means 38 of 50 states would have to ratify it. You are asking a lot of states to throw away whatever little power they have. It is never going to happen. It is a complete waste of time. It is quite simply populist nonsense. Although populist nonsense has done wonders for Republicans recently, so I give Democrats credit for trying, but it is too little, too late. Meanwhile, here in Sweden, Swedes love to lecture me on what is and what is not democracy. They believe that only a popular vote is actual democracy. This is because Swedes see America as one big block, and not for what it is, a federation of 50 states. You might think that the name United States might be a clue to remind them, but you would be wrong. To be fair, American critics of the Electoral College see America the same way. Incorrectly. America is a federation of 50 states, each with its own system of laws and government, all under the umbrella of a federal government which is much more powerful. Since America is a democracy, each state deserves a voice in how that government is shaped. If we had only a popular vote, many states would not have any voice at all, for reasons I explained in the first episode of this series, which I cannot believe I just said. I thought I was going to be one and done. And now I realize that this series will be 5,000 episodes long. In any case, when a Swede wants to lecture me on what is and what is not democracy, I tend to take that with a grain of salt because Swedes have actual Nazis in power getting stronger every year. They are not called Nazis, they are called Swedish Democrats, much like in America where they are called the alt-right. Both names catchier than neo-Nazi. But if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and swims like a duck, it is a Nazi. Also, as a little added bonus, Swedes have an actual royal family in the 21st century, and no one seems to mind how embarrassing that is. The royal family has no political power. They have no actual reason to exist. And yet they still do. Anyway, it doesn't really matter how many episodes I make or how passionately I defend the Electoral College or whether you agree with me or not or whether you like it or not. The Electoral College is here to stay. It is part of the Constitution, which will not be changing anytime soon, if ever. And for those of you asking electors to violate their pledge to support the candidate who won the popular vote in their state, I would ask you, what kind of democracy will we live in when the people vote one way and then electors do whatever the hell they want? If you think this would be a one-time exception to never be repeated, you have a very rosy view of the future of American politics that is not supported at all by reality. There's one thing I'm sure that many of us can agree on, and that is that the election of Trump is a horrible thing for America. Unfortunately, things will get much worse before they get better, because in 4 years, Trump will be re-elected. I am basing this prediction on the upcoming midterm election. As I mentioned in the first episode of this series, it is my belief that Democrats will take control of Congress in 2 years, becoming the party of opposition, which means in 4 years, when Trump is up for re-election, he will say to the American people, "Look, I am trying to do an amazing job for you, but look at these goddamn Democrats. They are standing in the way of change that you wanted." And he will be re-elected. If Democrats do not take control of Congress in 2 years, then Republicans will continue to push through whatever it is that Trump wants to do, and he will be re-elected. So buckle up, kids. It's going to be a long 8 years. If you disagree with my analysis of the current situation, I would refer you to Barack Obama's presidency. History repeats itself. It's funny that sometimes that happens very quickly. There is, however, a third possibility, and that is that Trump commits a crime so vile that even a Republican-controlled Congress has no choice but to impeach him. Based on Donald's track record, that is a very good possibility, so fingers crossed. Unfortunately, however, that would damage America's standing in the world, and also we would be left with President Mike Pence, who would immediately pardon Trump. History repeats itself.